The next topic that we're going to take a look at is extracting substrings. Now, in order to extract substrings from a string value, we have two methods available to us. One is the substring method, and the other is the method that I'll call substr. Even though we have two methods available to us, each of them works in a slightly different way. First of all, let's take a look at the substring method. The substring method extracts a substring between two indices. So when you call the substring method, you specify the beginning index as one parameter and then the ending index as the second parameter. Here's an example in which I have a string variable that I'm calling sOriginal, from which I'm extracting a substring, and I'm assigning that to a variable called sSubstring. And you can see that I'm specifying a starting index of 10 and an ending index of 20. So it's going to extract the substring beginning at 10 and ending at index 20. Now, the substr method works in a slightly different fashion. Instead of specifying the ending index, we specify the number of characters that we want to extract. So we're still going to specify two parameters. The first parameter will be the starting index, but the second parameter is the number of characters in the entire substring that we want to extract. So here's an example of that's going to actually extract the same substring from sOriginal. But you can see that the parameters, instead of being 10 and 20, are 10 and 10 because we're extracting a substring that's 10 characters long. Now, in either case, whether you're using the substring method or the substr method, if you omit the second parameter, then Flash is automatically going to retrieve the substring that's from the starting index all the way through the end of the string. So it automatically assumes that you want to extract all the way through to the ending index of the original string value. Okay, enough of the theory. Let's go ahead and switch over to Flash and take a look at some actual code examples. So I'm going to open the Actions panel, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a string variable that I'll call sTitle. And then I'm going to assign to that a new string instance, and I'm going to wrap the value ADVACTSCRT2-5 in Flash MX 2004. Okay, then what I want to do is I'm going to, first of all, we'll take a look at the substring method. So I'm going to declare a new variable that I'll call sExtracted, and then I'm going to assign to that the value of sTitle.substring, and I'll start at index 0, and my ending index will be 5. Then, in order to be able to see the results, I'm going to use a trace statement, and I'm going to output sExtracted. I'm going to go ahead and test the movie, and we can see in the output panel what the result of that expression is, and it's advan. So I'm going to switch back to the Actions panel so we can take a look at the code. And the first thing that I want us to do is let's count the indices of the characters within our string from 0 to 5. So A is 0, D is 1, V is 2, A is 3, N is 4, and C is 5. So you can see that the substring that was extracted actually ends one character prior to the ending index that we specified. So that's something that's important to keep in mind when you're using the substring method. The ending index is actually the index of the character immediately following the last character of the substring you want to extract. Okay, so let's take a look at the substr method now. So I'm going to simply change my method from substring to substr. I'm going to extract a substring that begins at index 0 and is 5 characters long. So I'm going to go ahead and test the movie, and we can see that the output in this case is identical to what it was when we used substring. The reason for that is because we're starting at index 0. But let's see what happens if I change that to 10. So now I'm starting at index 10, and I'm going to extract a string that is 5 characters long. So I'm going to get kchun. It's kind of an interesting word. And so you can see that the substring and the substr methods work in slightly different ways. Okay, now I also told you that if you omit the second parameter, then Flash is going to automatically assume that you want to extract the substring that goes all the way to the end of the original string. So I'm going to specify only one parameter here, and that's the starting index of 10. And so if I test the movie, then I should see the substring that's extracted begins at index 10 and extends all the way to the end of the original string. Likewise, if I use the substring method, then I'll get the same results because it's simply starting at index 10 and extending all the way to the end of the original string. So that's the basics of working with the subster and substring methods.